Washington, this is VOA News. Boston Marathon explosions leave a deadly trail. More calls for a recount in the Venezuelan presidential election. I'm Ray Kugel reporting from Washington. At least 2 people are dead and more than 50 wounded after 2 bomb explosions struck near the finish line of the Boston Marathon on Monday. Security officials say a 3rd explosion happened at Boston's John F. Kennedy Library, located in another area of the city. No injuries were reported from that, and it is not certain whether it is related to the other 2. Boston police are not saying whether the explosions were part of a terrorist attack. Bomb disposal teams are examining discarded bags and parcels at the scene of the initial blasts. There were scenes of confusion, streets littered with debris and blood, paramedics carrying stretchers, and damage to area buildings. The blast occurred not long after the first of the race's almost 27,000 runners had crossed the finish line. The race was halted after the explosions. In New York, Washington, and Los Angeles are on a heightened state of alert. Iraqi officials say at least 31 people died Monday as bombs blew up in the capital and several other cities, leaving more than 200 people wounded. There's been no immediate claim of responsibility for the attacks. They occurred as Iraq prepares to vote in provincial elections on Saturday. The pressure continues to increase on Venezuela's election officials following a close vote to replace the late President Hugo Chavez. Opposition leader Enrique Capriles is calling on Venezuelans to take to the streets today after election authorities formally proclaim Mr. Chavez's chosen successor, Nicolas Maduro, as the next president. Election officials say acting President Maduro was elected by a margin of 50.7% to 49.1% over Capriles, representing a difference of a little more than 230,000 votes. Capriles is demanding a recount, and so is the United States and the Organization of American States. North Korea Monday marked the 101st anniversary of the birthday of its late founder Kim Il-sung, an occasion many thought would use to carry out a missile test and increase regional tensions. But Pyongyang did not test a ballistic missile or even a short-range rocket to mark the anniversary, the most important holiday on the North Korean calendar, nor was there any large military parade to mark the event. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is urging North Korea to stop threatening the region's peace and prosperity and end its nuclear missile program. He talked about it during a speech in Tokyo Monday, as we hear from VOA's Daniel Scharf.
Kerry's speech Monday came at the end of 4 days of meetings with leaders in Beijing, Seoul, and Tokyo that focused on North Korea's provocations.
The United States remains open to authentic and credible negotiations on denuclearization, but the burden is on Pyongyang.
Kerry offered to negotiate with Pyongyang if it took steps to abandon its nuclear weapons program. Daniel Scharf, Bangkok.
An Egyptian appeals court ordered the release of former President Hosni Mubarak in a case involving charges of orchestrating the death of protesters, but he'll remain jailed on corruption allegations. Mr. Mubarak's lawyer sought his release on grounds the 84-year-old ex-president has already spent 2 years in prison without conviction, exceeding the maximum term for temporary detention. Mr. Mubarak is being held at a military hospital in a Cairo suburb. His lawyers say he is suffering from a variety of physical ailments. Somali authorities on Monday launched a security sweep in Mogadishu, a day after al-Shabaab militants stormed the city's main court complex and killed at least 29 people. Troops in the capital blocked off streets and searched vehicles and homes in the hunt for weapons and anyone believed to have militant ties. The number of pirate attacks is down worldwide, especially off Somalia, where pirates once hijacked dozens of ships each year. The International Maritime Bureau says there were 66 reported pirate incidents in the first quarter of 2013, a drop of 55% compared to a year earlier. Military officials from 11 countries in the Asia-Pacific region met in Manila Monday. They talked about maritime disasters Simone Orendine explains.
Philippine military officials say this is the first time this many countries have come together for such maritime disaster response exercises. Mid-level officers from countries including the Philippines, United States, China, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Japan, and South Korea worked through procedures for disaster response to scenarios including typhoons and earthquakes. Simone Orendine for VOA News, Manila.
And I'm Ray Kugel. More at voanews.com.